Hi there, Samantha. Thanks for opting in to the instructor video critique. Hopefully this will help you out a bit. Honestly, I think you're off to a good start. I see some things working well here. You have some nice bold colors, some good images with interesting focal points and good colors as well. A nice pull quote and a title that's off to a good start. Okay, so one thing that kind of jumped out to me a little bit when I first looked at this is the elder Richard G. Scott. I feel like is floating a little bit. And so what we want to do is we want to ground that by using the rule of alignment. You can see you have it spaced under here. It feels like it's a part of this, but it's not aligned with anything. The edge of the E doesn't align with the P or the H. The edge of the T doesn't align with this S. And so we can align it and that'll help it feel like it's a cohesive set. It's already in a different color, so it's standing out a little bit. So you don't want it to stand out anymore or it's going to look problematic. So I would probably align the very end of the T on Scott with the very end of the S on happiness. Just kind of tuck his name here in this pocket right underneath happiness. That'll look really nice. Your line here, I'm not sure if purposefully you stopped it. I'm guessing you didn't because it's a little bit arbitrary of a place to stop that line. So I would extend it to the end, make sure it's nice and aligned with the edge of this T like you've done over here. Good contrast here. You could even go a little bit bigger on the atonement if you wanted to have even more contrast. It's a little hard having the white type on this background. Perhaps you could take this image and increase the saturation of a little bit, and that might make some of this lighter color in the background become kind of more red, and that might increase a little bit the contrast so this becomes even more legible. It's okay right now. I'm not going to say it's a deal breaker, but it might look a little bit better to have this background be a little bit darker or more saturated, because usually you don't want your image to become darker. That's not the route I would really recommend. So increasing the saturation in Photoshop will help this image and this white writing contrast. You've done a nice job with the columns. I like that they're small. I like that they're not overly aggressive in their placement of the page. So that's really, really smart. This page is looking pretty good. It feels a little weird that this column starts up so high. I would recommend either having it start and align with the top of the L and the top of the C straight across like this, or you could have it align with where this sentence starts. So you would have two chunks of type down here. I know we say usually don't center align things, but I think within a circle, it's kind of looks good to have a pull quote centered aligned. So I would probably do that. That's a time where you can break a rule and it's fine. Okay. Your circle here, you have applied the text wrap, but you have probably clicked on the button to apply it to the bounding box, which is this imaginary square that exists around your circle. Instead, you want to apply that text wrap to the actual shape itself. And so on the text wrap box, that click up box that appears when you say to do a text wrap, it will have a few different options. Click around on those different options and hit OK, and one of those is going to wrap this text, so there's going to be a little margin, probably a bit wider than this nice thick stroke you have, and then the words are going to wrap around, and that's going to look so much better than nice and clean and square over here and kind of jumbled and ragged on this side. Okay, so that is one of the text box options when you go to apply that. This page, I would take the stroke off of these shapes because it's becoming a little bit competitive for attention here. When you're reading this paragraph, your eye is going to get distracted and want to follow the line of the stroke as opposed to continuing on. So I'd remove that stroke. If you have it there for a reason, maybe you feel like you looked bad side by side, then I would be more inclined to get rid of one of these colors and have it be white on one side as opposed to adding more and having more go on. That's an opportunity where you probably want to make the choice to add less. Okay. This image feels a little bit awkward. It feels like it's just kind of placed there. It's not really interacting with anything. It's not a full bleed. it's closer to this side than it is to the bottom. It feels like a bit of an awkward placement. So I would probably recommend making it a full bleed. Full bleed is like a very easy choice to make that instantly will make any design of yours look much better. Okay, so I'd probably make it a full bleed. I'd pull it down over to the right side, pull it down to the bottom, maybe bring it up, make it a little bit bigger perhaps, so you can still have a few words here. And then you could take this paragraph and bump it up so you don't have this awkward white space here. Instead you have white space on the bottom and your eye can fall off the edge of the page. And then make sure these two columns are also aligned at the top. This line is going to start on the same imaginary line across the top here. You could even add a little bit more space between your gutters, okay? So you want to be intentional about where your white space is, as opposed to having it kind of in the center of the page saying, I ran out of words. It will be on the top, on the sides, or around important elements like kind of this orange that you have here. All right, you're really off to a good start. It's looking really, really nice. Just a few things will take it to that next level where it will be looking really, really good. Okay, thanks, Samantha.